All right, we are live. I hope everyone has connected to the webinar. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. You're there, Oscar? You, Florian, too?
I'm here.
Perfect. Then let's start. So, first of all, good afternoon, friends of the TMS world. Welcome to our new webinar on the 5 reasons to invest in a TMS. So I'm Marcus Sarkozy from Alpega, and I'm thrilled to have all of you to join us today to explore the fascinating world of the TMS. And I'll just kick it off with the agenda. There we go. So over the next hour, we will be delving into several topics of the areas of why you should be investing in a TMS. So this is just a sneak peek of what you could expect. So we will be looking at the key challenges of today on the market. We will be discussing some of the problems and solutions of these challenges, which would result in some of the reasons why shippers today should invest in a TMS. And then at the end, we will also have Oscar Hacker from voestalpine explaining the reasons why they looked into the topic of TMS and the choices he made along the way as he was researching the topic. So, all right, just let's see. First up, some housekeeping rules before I officially kick it off. So all attendees are on mute, but you can ask questions under the questions tab. You will find it in the in the icon on the lower right corner of the screen. So the session will be also recorded, and a link to the recording will be provided to everyone that is registered tomorrow. And we will be launching some surveys or a poll at least during the webinar. So a winner will pop up on your screen. So please submit your answers so we can all see the result. Now, first up, before we dive into the world of transport management systems, let's just take a moment to get to know each other. And let's present the host of today's webinar. I'm going to start with the guest star of this webinar. So please go ahead, Oscar.
Thank you, Marcus. And thank you for inviting me. I'm very thrilled also to share some of my experience here today. So my name is Oskar Harke. I'm head of Transport Management Europe at voestalpine, the HPM division, and it's one of 4 divisions. And I have been roughly 17 years in the business of logistics and transportation, both for voestalpine and previous companies. So I really learned the effectiveness of a good TMS system. Yeah. Maybe there are some of you that don't know voestalpine. It's a global steel company, headquarters in Linz, Austria, and we deliver products to all kinds of businesses, automotive, aerospace, etc. Thank you from my side.
Thank you, Oscar.
Perfect. And on the next one, welcome to the webinar from my side as well. I'm Florian Linz, working as a senior pre-sales consultant by Alpega and have more than 6 years experience in the IT transportation sector as a solution consultant, and happy to have an interesting chat today with my colleague Marcus and Oscar Hake from voestalpine.
Thank you, Florian. So last but not least, I'm Marcus Acosta. I've been almost for 15 years in the transportation industry. And for the last couple of years, I've been working at Alpega, optimizing and taking shippers to the future way of working in transportation. And to set the stage now, without further ado, I will actually start out with a poll. There we go. So, all right, people, time to wake up. Please tell us about what your plans are. I'm going to give it some time. The votes are still coming in. we have some tendency, so there's definitely some movement on the TMS side. A lot of people are actually researching the topic. Let's see. Let's give it just another minute before we present any results. All right. I think we can present the results. So 25% said actually yes, yes ASAP, and 21% we already have one. 20% yes, but later. Another 20% surprisingly no, I don't think so, and 14% no, I don't think so. So most of you people actually are looking into investing in a TMS, so that's good news. So you're in the right webinar at least. All right, let's go to the next part. All right, so whoa, I went a little bit faster there. Just to give you a little bit of intro to the entire topic. So everyone is talking about the industry 4.0, digitalizing the world, working smarter. And this is where we really we were brainstorming and thinking, okay, what do people really want to hear about when we set up a webinar? So I think most of you people are actually looking for or want to hear what are other people thinking, what are the challenges of other people on the market, and especially what are the possible solutions out there. So this is actually why we came up with this webinar. So Florian Linz, I let you take the lead now.
Exactly, because this will be the red thread throughout the entire webinar. So I would like to start with the challenges, and hereby I would go briefly to it. Let's start actually with the first one on the left side, because the biggest challenge of most of our customers is not knowing where the transported goods are. The lack of visibility happens when there's, for example, no system in place. The communication is only by mail and phone call and Excel, and the transport interruptions cannot be managed. And that can be really a nightmare for every logistic manager. The next challenge is about costs, because controlling the cost is not an easy task, especially if the transport company raises prices or charges unreasonable fees, or the company have to use too many tools, and in general, too many process costs. And it doesn't seem easy to reduce these variable costs. Another challenge is that the shipper doesn't know when and which truck is arriving today. The shipper is flooded, yes, by email and phone calls as well from the carrier. And sometimes the shipper, in a worst case scenario, have to pay even waiting times for the trucks which are waiting in front of the plants. But the next one, actually, it's the most important issue of the last month and years we hear from our customers, because it's about sustainability. And how can actually the shippers be sure that they're reducing their CO2 emissions if they have no tool to track this? I believe that is a very big challenge. And last but not least, the challenge about managing all processes in different systems at different locations, because the difficulties start by the complexity of a really large network with multiple systems, different carriers even so, that are managed sometimes even in a decentralized manner. So I believe the most of the challenges are known for you. That's why we would like to go a little bit more deeper into the conversation. And here I would like to ask my colleague Marcus as well, what do you think about the first challenge and how we can solve it and how we can take the best benefit out of it?
Thank you, Florian, for that introduction. So I'll go straight through the first challenge, visibility. or rather the lack of it. So one of the most significant challenges today, I would say, is the lack of visibility. And in hand, we have the transparency with the supply chain. Now, this leads to unforeseen disruptions that obviously can result in negative impacts on the operations. And I would say the last couple of years have been filled with them. So I'm just going to give 3 examples. I mean, I could speak through the entire webinar about different types of them, but let's just stick to 3 of them. So we have the corona. So that disrupted the market due to closed borders, production facilities. People had to work from home, but the infrastructure wasn't there yet. So that was a problem. So then we have a second example, which is the Panama Canal, which is often problematic, often due to drought and low water volume. And an example of this is during August, the month of August right now, we had around about 150 vessels waiting for an average of 21 days to pass. I mean, 21 days, it's a lot of time just to, sit there and waiting. And the third example is the war in Ukraine. So this war in Ukraine has led to I would say, a multi-layered logistical problem in Europe. Geopolitics has a tendency to extend further than the actual epicenter. So today we really see that we're more tied to each other in Europe than we actually think that we are. And such an event made the prices on energy, transportation, basically everything just spike for a short while from today's scene before actually stabilizing on a new level. And I would actually ask you, Oscar, here to see if you can add something to this specific topic.
Yes, thank you, Marcus. So yeah, at voestalpine, we experience these kinds of problems all the time. I mean, we have the classical example: the customer is calling us and asking, "Where are my goods?" And unfortunately, we have no clue, and we start calling the freight forwarders looking for that, and gives a bad impression of us. And another great example is how much manpower lack of visibility takes. We have 2 warehouses in Germany where we deliver to same customers, and sometimes we have warehouse personnel in both warehouses. We have the transport planners, we have the sales contacts, everyone searching for the same load because the visibility is not there. And this costs, of course, time, effort, money, and we really act unprofessional towards our customers. Over to you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Oscar. Let's see. I'm going to go to the solution. So I'm actually going to address the challenge that we had. And I would say, from my perspective, of course, I would say a good TMS needs to offer 3 main, main pillars for support. And I'm going to talk about these three main pillars. So the first one would be to gain visibility. And to gain visibility, it's about mitigating the disruptions and ensuring a smooth operation during the supply chain. Meaning, I basically need to know, before an issue becomes a problem, I need to know about it so that I can plan and replan. And number 2, when we keep talking about visibility, but at the end, I want to know, all the time what's going on. And I want to have this information inside my system. I don't need to, or I don't want to look for it. That's the hassle. I don't want to have a hassle with being able to provide a good quality information to my end customer at the end. And to do that, I need the information from my transport partner, or and even better is if I have real-time data, not only the status, but real-time data. So in that way, I can actually track the shipments at all times. And third, but not least, the ultimate goal is really to have satisfied customers. Meaning, if the customers can trust that the merchandise will come at the time that I say it will come, I mean, we've done a good job. And in case of any disruptions along the way, we should be able to plan or replan, or at least inform the customer of where the shipment is, so that the customer at least get a good experience with us as shippers then at the end. So that was my insight to the solution of this challenge. So Florian, will you take the next one?
Yeah, very interesting. Yes, I will take the next one about costs. So I will elaborate more in the cost factor. And depending on the complexity of each company, it is always not easy to collect all necessary costs to make an analysis about the current expenses. So I would be very interested which costs come to the mind to the audience if we talk about cutting costs. I strongly believe the biggest cost factor in the transportation sector is clearly the freight costs itself, but it's not only that factor. It follows by process costs of employees, different claims from carriers, and maybe mistakes by manpowers. And Oscar, I would like to ask you here to know more about the major problems you have on your desk as a head of transportation management.
Thank you, Florian. Here I could talk for an hour at least. There are so many different fields, like you said. Let's name a few examples. So many of our transport partners, they want to have an EDI connections to our system. And it sounds good at the first, but if you really think every connection, it costs money, like we said, and it needs to be tested, served, maintained. And so my recommendation, don't build these connections yourself. So have a TMS, and then you have one connection to TMS, and then from there you have all the connections to your partners. So this is one thing. Another example, also a classical one. What I've seen, all the Excel lists, all the emails, they are stored somewhere. We are so inefficient, and of course that costs money, and you don't see that. And with the TMS, you have really all the data, all the transports, all the prices, everything in one place and accessible for all, and you're so much faster. So to name a few things. Over to you.
Thanks. It's very interesting because it seems you had different systems in place which follows to more cost. And let's find out how to reduce these costs with the transportation management system. A TMS is able to collect all cost management data in one place. And when we talk to shippers, they tend to split the benefits into three big categories, which you can see on the right side. Because the first category is around cost reduction coming from process and organization. The range of savings on the process falls anywhere between 4 and 10%. It's about the ability to manage all transportation modes in a seamless integration, to have a collaboration platform to all supply chain partners, for example, and to be in general able to share the information in real time. The second category is related to the IT spend, where customers highlight saving from 5 and 15%. And as Oscar already have mentioned, these savings are linked to the fact that by moving to a SaaS solution, and shippers are able to spend then much less effort and resources on the development and maintenance. And in general, there's no need of high upfront investments. Last but not least, we're moving to the third category of saving, which is about transportation costs, where customers highlight saving from incredible 8 to 22%. The shipper is able to optimize their whole network on a strategical level, so more on a long-term vision, a tactical level, which is more seen on a monthly basis, and dynamically operational level on the daily work, where customer is able to optimize the capacity utilization, for example. Apart from the whole network savings, the shipper save time and cost by using the right tendering module as well. So to have a better and easy way to make the tender the best prices per lane to the different carriers. In general, I would say that these three big categories are where shippers can have a huge savings potential by implementing a transportation management system. Oscar, you would be agreed with this savings potential of a transportation management system?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Then I will go give the ball to you, Marcus.
Thank you, Florian. And I'll take the next one. So the next challenge is the labor shortage. So I would say that this challenge, this specific one, is not exclusive to the transport industry, but it has definitely left its marks on the industry. And I would say it's been a concern, well, at least the recent couple of years. And I would say this challenge refers to the difficulty of finding and retaining skilled workers within the transportation and logistics sector. So this includes truck drivers, warehouse personnel, transport planners, and other crucial roles. We all need a lot of people for a smooth functioning supply chain operations. So to give you good examples, I've actually divided this into two main challenges within the labor shortage. So the first one is the aging workforce. So the transportation industry has been grappling with an aging workforce. So many truck drivers and other, I would say, transportation professionals, they are actually approaching a retirement age. So there are fewer younger people entering this world and replacing them, which leads to my second issue, which is negative perception. So we have a pretty negative perception on the transportation industry. And the perception today is that it's a low-paying, physically demanding type of job and super stressful. And this obviously is influencing the people, the younger people that should be coming into the sector to choose another career path. Simply, and the problem that we have is the more years that come, the more volume we are actually transporting throughout the years. So that's going to be a very problematic turn as we have less people coming in, but more volume going out. Oscar, can you give us your perspective on this?
Yes, sure, Marcus. So yes, we are, of course, like everyone else, also constantly looking for qualified blue and white collar workers. To give you an example, many sites all around the world, but especially in Europe, we are still doing a lot of manual work. Let's take invoicing. Yeah, we are checking it row by row, one transport at a time, and then we put it manual in our ERP system. And these are these simple tasks what could easily be done by a TMS system, and this person could then do more meaningful tasks to help this situation. And so it's a simple improvement to change the situation. Over to you.
Thank you for sharing that experience. So I'm going to go over to the solution. So we did a little bit of digging before we got the answer from Oscar. And to address this topic, we actually have three main strategies. So first of all, improving working conditions. Sounds like a simple one, but offering better working conditions such as just predictable schedules and maybe more time at home can actually help and attract and retain workers that are out there. And which leads to the second one, which is technological integration. Now, technological integration comes in different ways. We have the way that it enhances the workers that are really out there and increases their efficiency, but also safety and also making the entire industry more appealing. As Oscar just said, like instead of putting in a lot of numbers and a lot of information by hand, we could just have the TMS do it automatically. We already have all the data and just let the technology support us there. And the third one, industry perception. So by promoting a positive aspect of the transportation, we can actually dispel a lot of myths and improve the image and attract new talent. So we just have to get that dirty image away from the younger people. Transportation can actually be super exciting. So all these three strategies, as I just mentioned, would actually be supported by a TMS. So by first and foremost automate a lot of the, I would say, boring tasks, such as entering order by hand. I would also be able to support the planning and hence also the support the human resources that we have within the company, but also the personnel and their daily tasks. When people are swamped in tasks, this would actually help them to get more efficient and get a better overview of their what they have to do during the day. And all in all, it's just about making the workplace more attractive place to be in. So Oscar, would you agree with these theories?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, this was certainly factors that we took into account as we decided to go for a TMS.
Perfect. All right,
Perfect.
Florian.
Coming to the next topic, which is one of the most popular challenge and issue, and actually my personal interest as well, the sustainability. More and more, we recognize there has been increasing demand from our customers for greater transparency and accountability around the environmental impact of their supply chains, including transportation emissions. And most of the companies are focusing to reduce the CO2 emissions. And sometimes customers even build their own sustainability departments to have a better coordinated way to track the CO2 emissions. But with missing KPIs and incorrect data of the emissions, every sustainable employee has problems to analyze the data and earlier, and even so to deliver then the correct data to the management board. So for most of the customers, that's a really current challenge. And I would like to highlight here, did you know information to you? Because 80% of the Alpega's target customers in the EU must collect their emissions data from the entire supply chain, including the transportation by carrier. These sanctions on greenhouse gas, the GHG, are already starting latest January 2025. So time is really short. 2025 is almost there. And it's time now to react and to collect the emissions data and using it to better understand their supply chain emissions and identify really opportunities for improvement. So I would like to go to the solutions, because our digital transportation management tools can help you to reduce the GHG emissions in the transportation sector in several ways. So here, for example, a good examples. First, by using the strategic sourcing, the shipper is able, of course, to tender the right carrier for the right price, but even so, to focus on reducing the CO2 emissions. Even so, the network optimization is supporting the reduction of emissions with providing what-if scenarios. That what-if scenarios can be of different roads or transport modes, and the shipper can make more sustainable choices, reducing their carbon footprint. Let's go a little bit to the transport modes, because of the shift of the transport modes from high impact emissions, for example, road transport, to lower emissions modes like rail and sea, this tool can support here a high impact to reduce the CO2 emissions. If we talk then about the execution, by optimizing asset utilization through the delivery schedules and capacity, the Alpega TMS can help, for example, in reduce the number of vehicles needed for the transport goods, and improving asset utilization and reducing the emissions in general. So last but not least, the planning. Our TMS can help optimize routes for freight transport, reducing the distance traveled and associated emissions. And by using then real-time traffic data and this whole route optimization algorithms, These tools can identify the most efficient routes for each delivery. How? Yeah, by taking into account the factors such as road conditions, traffic patterns, and delivery windows. So I'm really glad to provide our shippers the visibility of CO2 emissions and to give the choice to really make an impact on this world. Yeah, that was firstly from my side about sustainability topic, but I'm more than willing to have a deeper chat on this.
Thank you, Florian. Then I will take the next one, last but not least, the network complexity. Big word, actually two of them. So when we talk about network complexity, we actually refer to mainly two topics. So firstly, we have the internal organization, and we refer to this problem more as the local kingdom problem, whereas big companies struggle with local managers being resistant to change. And despite centralizing decision making, operational people on site are currently, and in many cases, doing their own thing. And then secondly, we have the external factor. So this includes, the actual supply chain network. When we talk about this, it's suppliers, customers, carriers, keeping track of all this information coming from the different parties and trying to stay on top without any tool to support the cause. For me at least, that sounds like mission impossible. So I would just turn the ball over to Oscar, and can you share a little bit of your experience on this?
Yes, of course, Marcus. So if I look at let's say our internal network, in my point of view, it's not that complicated. We have production sites, we have warehouses, but still somehow they cannot communicate with each other. So I have people standing around all day waiting for an internal truck to arrive, or the other way around, a truck arrives and there are no people. Yeah. So for me, the network need to be visible and understandable. So no matter how easy or how complex it is. So here I believe and know that a TMS can make a huge difference. Over to you.
Thank you, Oscar. So then we come to the solution. So how can I translate all this into a solution? Well, we've talked a lot about it throughout the entire webinar. So it already here, it's kind of like comes down to one thing. It's when we have all the orders, we also have the contracts, and we process information, and everything flows to a single point of truth, basically. So what we want to do to facilitate this complex network, it was internally as well as externally. So we just want to enable a seamless communication with all the involving parties, as I said, suppliers, carriers, customers, but also colleagues within the organization, just as Oscar just mentioned. It's so important that we are all working with the same information. And, at the end, it's about reducing complexity. And we do this by automating, certain processes we can automate, but also by optimizing not only the transports, but also the way we work with the entire, within the entire organization. Good. That was the last of that part. So now we come to, I would say, one of the more fun parts. This is the time actually when Oscar will enter the stage and shine with his experience. So Oscar, please go ahead.
Okay, my time to shine. Thank you.
Yes.
So I wanted to give the audience some of my reflections, how or why we at First Alpine, what were our first thoughts about implementing a TMS? Why do we need it? So we really made the brainstorming, of course, and had a lot of discussions. And what you see here on these slides are the biggest reasons why we wanted the TMS system. And I will shortly go through it so you understand how we were thinking. So I start on the upper left corner, tendering tool. This was very important for us to do transport buying, transport procurement. So we wanted to have a professional tool to do that. Before, everything was in, like I said, in Excel lists, in email, and now we want to have one central point. It's also, we will also want to act professional towards the transport partners. Yeah. So it's easy for them, easy for us. So yeah, so this was one of the biggest reasons. If I go to the right, we want also to access a big carrier pool. Yeah. So for both the tendering part to reach out to a lot, but also for spot buying. Sometimes, yeah, we need to act fast and in certain areas, and maybe we don't have our regular carrier can do it. So we want to access a big carrier pool, and so this was one of our major points. The next one we already discussed, the environment, CO2 emissions. We need to start calculating it. It's very important. We need to know where we are, the status quo, and we all, of course, wants to improve it. And we can we need to know where we are, and we need to know every year, so we know that we are getting better and better. So this was also a big point. And then, of course, we talk about the visibility. We want to have a full reporting, the transparency. We want to have a good dashboard. People from all stages, from transport planners to management, they should be able to go in, have their dashboard ready, have the 2 things, 5 things, 10 things to see, okay, check. And so we know where we're going. Should be an easy one, of course. So this was also a main topic. If I then follow the arrows and go down, optimize multi-stops, milk runs. What do I mean about that? So we have, in our organization, we do a lot of pickups also from customers to our warehouses. We also bring a lot, also smaller packages. So we have also a lot of smaller trucks going through routes, and we want to, of course, optimize it to know, okay, which truck pickups from where, brings where, what is the optimized route. And so, yeah, so this is something we want us at TMS to help us with. Then if I move to the left, we have this no-touch ordering, a classical one. When the customer is sending us the sales order, we want this to run through the whole process automatically. If it's a normal sales order, we get it every day or every week. There should not be any manual process, has to put anything in the system or check anything. If we have it in the warehouse, it goes automatically, and then the transport is booked. Yes, the next one, track and trace, visibility again. We want to know where are our goods, where are the trucks. Can we give an update to our customer about the ETA, about the delays? And this all ends up in the customer's satisfaction. We want to, act professional towards our customers. And then we have this automatic PODs, proof of deliveries. Very, let's say, boring topic, but very important. No one wants to call around to get this piece of papers. So we really need a TMS to help us there, that when the truck has arrived and they deliver the goods, they need to upload the documents. They can do it in their system, and it goes automatically to the TMS system. So we also have it. And all the documentation, if we are uploading something, the transport partners can see it, download it to their system. This is like, we saw it and we've seen it still. It really takes a lot of time, and this should be yeah, it should be something that the TMS helps us with. Then if I go down, time slot management. Some of our warehouses are quite small. We only have 1, 2 loading places. We cannot have all the trucks arriving at the same time. We need to split them through the day as good as possible. So this was also one of the criteria. The next one, supplier evaluation. We need to know which one are the good ones, which are the bad ones, and of course to use this when we are doing the negotiations with them, when we are doing the tendering, to see, okay, can we pay more? Do we have to stop using them? So this is a big topic. The next one, yes, I already mentioned it a little bit, that for us, it's very manual, still the invoice control and approval, and this we want a full, this should be automatic. The invoice come in, if the freight rates, it's all good, it should be automatically booked, and there should be no person have to look at it. And the last one, yeah, rate management. Again, transparency. What does it cost? Our salespeople should be able to go into the rate management, see, okay, what does it cost from A to B? What prices can I give to my customer? And yeah, so these were the biggest of them. Were of course more, but these were the biggest what I want to highlight today. And so yeah, it was quite simple in the end. If you jump to the next slide, please. So yes. Alpega was the last remaining TMS provider when we went all through, so they could really offer us the full package. Thank you.
That is nice to hear. It's a good story. All right. So we have already come to the end. I would have to say that actually went faster than I thought, but this is how it is when you have fun. So I am going to conclude this webinar, and I'm just going to recap, the things that we said here. So the 5 key reasons to making an investment in a TMS. So first of all, it is a really strategic move for your business. So I'm going to take the circle. I'm going to go through 1 to 5, starting out with number 1. Reason is reducing complexity. So a TMS really streamlines the entire supply chain, minimizing the complexity internally as well as externally, trying to get away from bottlenecks and inefficiencies within the organization. Now, reason number 2, the environmental impact. So a TMS doesn't only benefit the business, but also the environment. So by optimizing transportation routes and minimizing empty miles, but also the way we're working, you really contribute to a greener footprint. Reason number 3, labor attractiveness. So in a world where attracting and retaining skilled workers is a really a big challenge, a TMS can really be a game changer. So by streamlining certain tasks that are boring, making the job actually more interesting, and in that way, you're actually creating a more attractive workplace, a work environment. Okay, and the reason number 4, enhanced visibility. So it's actually a really critical component today. I think today more than a couple of years ago, we're so used to getting all the information directly, knowing exactly where all the goods are, the packages, and everything that we're working with. We want to know it now, not tomorrow, and not in 10 minutes. So with a TMS, you can really gain real-time insights into your operations. So tracking the shipments, being on top, and seeing potential disruptions and solving issues before they actually becomes a problem. And then reason number 5, the last one, cost reduction. So that is actually the bottom line when we look at everything. So we want to reduce costs, and by implementing a TMS, you can save costs in different levels. So it's not only about optimizing the routes, optimizing empty miles, but also we can boost profitability on different stages, such as I said, lowering administrative overhead. You have streamlined the entire organization. You got one spot, one source of truth where everyone's looking, not different sources of information. So that's gonna really increase the efficiency also within the organization, and that in that way you actually boost profitability, but also it keeps you on a strong competitive edge. So by embracing all these benefits that I just mentioned and investing in a TMS, you're really taking a significant step towards a more efficient, sustainable, and competitive supply chain. Wow, that was a long monologue from my side. Guys, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, maybe some closing words from my side. I agree with you. Investing in a transportation management system, it isn't just a strategical choice. I believe, and I have experienced firsthand as well, it's a smart choice. Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be challenges with transportation. Yeah. But the difference is how we tackle them. Yeah. And we choose to do it with Alpega TMS at First Alpine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
And from my side, we hope you found this webinar insightful, valuable. And if you're ready to take your supply chain to the next level, consider exploring the possibilities TMS offers. So now I would like to turn the table around to the audience and start the Q&A session.
All right. So end of webinar. First of all, before people drop out, I want to express my gratitude to our knowledgeable speakers and all the participants for joining. And I see here questions coming up. So first question, Florian, do you want to take that one? How long does it take to implement a TMS?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I can take over this one. How long does it take to implement the TMS? It's really depending of the size and the complexity of the whole project. The good thing is that Alpega is offering all 5 levels from Gartner. So from a more basic level to a very strategical level. And hereby, I would say that from the basic perspective, from the end-to-end flow, we would be already able to implement 1 to 3 months in 1 to 3 months. If the complexity is a little bit more enhanced, the average would be about 4 to 6 months. And if a customer has a more complexity in the project, a more global view and complexity, then it can take 6 to 12 months in a strategical project.
Yeah, thank you for that, Florian. 6 to 12 months is still pretty fast, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you consider like how long it takes for an ERP system to be implemented. So I see the next question. I'm going to take this one myself. How much does a TMS cost? Classical question, I would say. Well, it really depends on the complexity. And when I say complexity, it depends. Are we going to have inbound or outbound or both? How big is the network? Do we involve different plants? How many carriers do we want to integrate? Do we want to integrate the suppliers also? Having suppliers working in the same TMS, and if so, yes, should it be really an EDI integration? There's a heaps of parameters to really consider. So it's hard to say it's going to be like 25 or 250K in the project. But if you really want to have a ballpark figure, get in touch with us and don't be afraid. Just send us an email and we can base a ballpark figure for your needs. Let's see here. Next one. I'll let Oscar take this one. What was the knockout criteria that left Alpega standing as a preferred choice?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit mentioning that, but yeah, the process took many months. Yeah, we were looking at a lot of different solutions, a lot of different TMS systems, and we had our, like I said, we had our wish list, and Alpega met all the requirements, and they were also very customer focused through the entire process, and also, I mean, you just talked about the prices. The prices was also okay. So yeah, we ended up with Alpega.
Thank you, Oscar.
Okay.
Let's see. We got more questions. I'm going to hand this to you, Florian. Is Alpega TMS able to support in a global perspective?
Yes, definitely. The Alpega TMS is first of all covering all the transportation modes. We're talking here about road, sea, air, cab, and rail. And yeah, it's independent of the location. We can cover a global implementation from all different kind of material flows. So even the inbound focus, where we have really strong experiences, the intercompanies, and even so the outbound scenarios, we are strong in it.
Good, thank you, Florian. I'm actually the second question. I might give it to you also, so because that reconnects to the question right now. Is a TMS also useful for inbound flows, like sea and air freight of containers?
Definitely. Yeah, I would like to take this one. The inbound process, because our TMS is even so able that the logistic manager have the view, but even so all other supply chain partners can have the access to the solution. So, for example, in the inbound process, it's very important that the supplier has the possibility and the ability of an active role in the TMS. Even so, the supplier is able to edit and revise the transportation order until it gets consolidated with other transportation orders to build a load where the carrier will be then allocated. And I think that is a very strong benefit from our solution, that we have here the whole scheduling part for different transportation modes.
Thank you, Florian. So I'm going to take the next one myself. Is there an interface with SAP for data? So yes, definitely. I would actually say that the most integrated ERP system that we have is with SAP. So therefore, we also have standard interfaces if it's with R3 or S4HANA. So yes, this is it's one of the biggest ERP systems. So that's pretty much why we also figure it would be good to have standard interfaces there. Let's see. Oh, question for Oscar. How did you approach this project? Was this a big bang, or did you decide upon certain parts of the requirements first and then move to other ones?
Yes. So our approach is that we start with a smaller company in our big concern, and so not with all the boxes what I showed you. So we are doing the ordering, seeing that the carriers are getting the loads, the invoicing. So yeah, smaller company, step by step, a lot of testing. I mean, there are always going to be some bugs here and there to fix those. So it's smoothly running with one smaller company, and then we will start the rollout phase, and then it goes quite quickly when you build this one template for one company or for one site, and then you can do it more. So not a big bang, company through company, because we believe this is the best choice.
Great, thank you, Oscar. I see here a couple of questions coming in. Florian, I'll give this one to you. What does Alpega offer in addition to other systems?
And other systems. So first of all, I would like to go back to my comment about the 5 levels. That hereby the Alpega TMS has a huge benefit that we are able to scale, which means that we can start in a basic function to allocate, for example, the carrier, but even so be able in an enhanced a level to really optimize the load, so we can maximize the utilization of the trucks, have the whole collaboration platform to the different carriers. And even so, if the shipper would like to go to the next levels, that we can have a strategical view. What does it mean? That we cover, for example, modules like network optimization to really be sure when and where the distribution center makes sense and the routes for the shipper. Then the tactical planning, where hereby we can work even so with a forecast information we will receive, and the dynamically planning. So we are covering here the whole end-to-end process, where you can see a huge benefit. And even so, we have additional modules which we can offer, for example, the reusable packaging management system, for other known more a container management system, where you can really balance the stock of the empty packages, or have a slot booking system to have a time window booking at each gates, or the strategic sourcing, as we have already mentioned. Especially hereby, it's a huge savings potential, where the shipper is able to really easy use the tendering to find out who's the best carrier for the right price, less CO2 emission for each lane, and send it out to different carriers to nominate it as the preferred carrier.
Thank you, Florian. I might actually ask you to take this one too, because it kind of reconnects to your answer. So how do you distinguish your TMS solution from players like Transporeon as TMS platform? Why is Alpega the better choice for the customers? I think that
Yes.
reconnects what you talked about the Gartner's level 1 to 5, right?
Exactly. That we can cover all the 5 levels, that we can cover the whole scheduling, the multi-leg scenario, even so, not only single leg, multi-leg, for with different transportation modes, and even so with the inbound process, that the supplier can have an active role in the TMS. I think these are really strong arguments.
Good. Thank you, Florian. Let's see. I'm going to take one last question. It has to be a short one because we're coming to the end. So, are only LTL and FTL forwarders connected, or are also kept forwarders like UPS, GLS, DHL, etc., also included? So obviously, FTL and LTL forwarders, they are the major part of the network, but yet we also have kept forwarders included in our network. So we have all the big ones already integrated to our platform, and hence also used by most of our customers, also such as Alpina. So maybe a short yes would have been sufficient. All right. We've really come to the end. It's 5 o'clock. So thank you all for participating, for being there in this webinar. Big thanks to Oskar Hacke from Alpina and my colleague Florian. So if you like to continue this conversation with us, so just feel free to reach out. And have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.